So this is for Gen 1 devices, pretty much most things before the MPC Live 3. Information is geared to the Mac users, but I'm pretty sure most things are the same, minus some different terminology. So for first, you want to have an expansion that you want to load onto your MPC, or you want to purchase an expansion from the MPC store, then load it. So for this to all work, you'll want to have your MPC registered to your inMusic profile. Just Google that, enter the serial number on your device and your email address that you want linked to it all. You'll also want to download the inMusic Software Center and have an SD card, preferably, or another removable disk on the MPC. For further convenience, also a USB-B to whatever USB port your computer has. It has to be USB 3.0, and this will link your MPC to your computer. So then onto the MPC store, or other places I assume. So here you can buy an expansion, and then at the checkout, add the email address that you have used for your inMusic profile. The expansion will now be viewable on the program mentioned earlier, inMusic Software Center. In here, you'll find the tab Expansions. From here, you download the expansions onto your computer. This is where I got confused and why I've made this video. So the files download to a folder on your device that isn't easily found unless you know what you're looking for. For me, they were in a folder with my MPC data at this location, so it was Library, Application Support, Akai, MPC. So I just used Command, Shift and G to bring up the Mac's search window, pasted that in there. I'll leave it in the description to make it easier to find. It might be in a different location if your computer installed it somewhere else, in which case I might not be able to help as well. Reach out in the comments. So here in this Akai MPC folder, you'll see two folders, one called Content, one called Expansions. These are the two that we're going to need later. Remember them and just keep them to the side for now, just don't touch them yet. The next part needs to be precise, or else your MPC won't format things as you want. So now we're looking at our SD card plugged into our computer. You need to create a folder on your SD card called Expansions. When you open your SD card, Expansions needs to be a folder on the very top page. It can't be tucked inside another folder, so the top level, so to speak. Inside Expansions, create folders for the different expansions that you'll want to use. Name them as such just to keep it tidy. This is the exact layout you'll need for your SD card from my understanding. You don't need all the options, as your expansion pack might not have them. For this example, we're using the Marco Polo Pad Thai drums. So as you can see on the SD card, for this example, I have folders in the top layer, projects, expansions, etc. You can name them whatever you want, but keep expansions as it is. Inside Expansions on the SD card, we're going to copy in the folders and some files from earlier and rename some components if they haven't been already. So now we have folders on our SD card created and ready. We go back to Library, Application Support, Akai, MPC, the file from earlier. And here we'll go back to those two folders, Content and Expansions. Firstly, we'll tackle Content. Go into the Content folder and you should see folders of expansions you've already downloaded and purchased. The folder for this example was created on my Mac with this name, com.akaipro.mpc.expansion.Marco Polo Presents Pad Thai, which is essentially just the file path, but we're going to change that name. So we copy this folder, and we copy that folder into the created SD card one, which we named Marco Polo Presents Pad Thai, and we're going to change the com.akaipro.blah address name to Content. We'll then go to our second folder, Expansions, and this is the one on your computer, not to be confused with other use of the word expansions. That is Library, Application Support, Akai, MPC again. Inside Expansions, you should see program files and JPEGs. Copy the JPEG if there's one there, and the XML file with the correct name, obviously, of the one we're dealing with, to our, in this example, our Marco Polo Presents Pad Thai folder. So now, in the folder, we should have the folder that we renamed to Content, the XML file, and the JPEG. And that should be it. If it has other files with or folders with the same name, also copy those. But for the now, that should be everything. Next time you insert your SD card into your MPC, just turn it on. By the time it boots up, the MPC should have read the device, found that file path, and loaded the expansions into the expansion section on the MPC. I hope it helps. It was very confusing for me, and most people just assumed I'd be able to work it out, but it took me bloody ages. So do reach out in the comments if this doesn't work for you, or if it does and you've had a slightly different experience. Let's pass on this information. Thank you very much. Have a good one. If anything here was particularly useful for anyone, if you could consider dropping a like or a subscribe, it's all really appreciated.